Hello. Hello. We're laughing because she knows she's really too loud.
It's an inside joke. It would take too long to explain. Never mind. Let's start the class.
Do it again.
Oh, no.
No?
No, I'm afraid now. No, I don't want to be too loud. I would, but it would be potentially very annoying, and I don't.
Oh, no.
I don't want to be annoying.
Annoying? No, Paula? No.
Class always comes first.
I would never say that.
Of course you would not say that.
Right. No comment. Anyway, so a very warm welcome to you guys. We are very happy that you joined us today. So this is your Wednesday evening class. We have two classes today. We have beginners and improvers right now, right here, until 7:45, and then we have a little break. And at 8 o'clock UK time, we have intermediate and advanced dancers. And today is all about
Cadencia. I like how it sounds.
It sounds very good.
It's so poetic, no? Cadencia. It's like it's
kind of
such
carries
a
us.
harmony. Yeah,
Exactly,
so
exactly.
beautiful.
So, before we are going to explain a little bit what is cadencia, we are going to start as per usual. We are going to have a look at the posture and how we start moving, because we are going to move a lot today. Well, I hope so. Okay? So, leaders, shall we start?
Yes.
Alright,
Let's
so,
start. Ready or not? Here it comes.
good. Leaders, eyes on me. Right. You start with your feet together, as usual. Make sure that you're going to have a nice stretch, a really nice stretch. And today again, the posture is going to have an impact. So really nice. And in the process, make sure that you have your shoulders right down. Yes, be careful there. Now, when you do your posture, try to have your hips going a little bit back and have this natural forward inducing posture. See, the energy is forward, but it's not because I'm on my tippy toes, because I'm in the back of my axis a little bit, so that means my weight is in the middle of my foot. However, my torso is communicating to my partner through this energy forward. Today again it's going to be important that we communicate properly, because it's going to require us to have good communication. So, I'm going to start with a nice posture. I'm going to start with what we call the projection, which is my leg going straight, straightening, and here I'm going to have a nice stretch. So see my knees going a little bit back, my hips going a little bit back, this one only, and I'm going to start firing the muscle here and here to get ready to start pushing. Now I'm ready, second stage, translation. I push, and I go all the way to the middle point here, and this is where I make sure that I have like a good balance. That means I have 50-50 weights on the two legs. And I'm going to use my back foot to start rolling the foot until a point when I'm ready to collect. There. One more time. 1, 2, push, rolling of the foot, and we collect. There. Okay. Follow us. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Here she is! Okay.
Yeah, you're in good form, aren't you?
I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood.
I can see.
There's a second summer, people. You know, it's great. It's the second summer next week in London.
That's true.
So, we start getting back to more serious aspect of the class, shall we?
Do we? Okay.
So, start by transferring the weights, and this is indicated via the leader.
We could actually start with this. Yeah?
Okay, sure. And then the projection is going to happen. The push from the standing leg, and here I'm going into the middle point and wait for what happens. Now the push into the standing leg is causing the collection. One more time. Project, push, transfer, and push. Keep traveling to the axis.
Okay, so we are going to start building the embrace, where I invite my partner with my left hand. I put my glasses, my nerdy glasses in my pocket.
Nerdy, yes, actually, yeah.
Harry Potter.
Sure.
And I'm going to close the embrace. I'm going to close the embrace with my right arm and hand. Now here we are going to close a little bit more until we have chest contact. And make sure that at this point I'm going to stretch even more, so that I lift my partner in my embrace. I'm getting my weight on one leg, and I'm starting to do a little push. The projection is a consequence of this push here. I'm going to straighten my leg and I'm going to start moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so here I will take my time to work on my feet and making sure that as I transfer my weight, nothing is rushed. Come.
So as I'm being walked back, let's call it that way, I feel that there is a little bit of body resistance with the body weight via the center. So there is not too much energy in the embrace, especially in the close embrace, but I do feel quite a lot of support and communication via the center. So that's how I know we're going to keep on walking or we're going to stop into a stop.
Exactly. So let's do a few steps together.
Yeah.
Yes, with music.
And then maybe we leave the music on for you guys.
Exactly. So
you know the drill.
Solo dancers, you can practice your forward walk or backward walk. These are really important. You need to make them really crisp, sharp, balanced, in control. Okay. Otherwise, if you're in couple, of course, build your embrace and let's start. Moments to practice your caminata, and we'll be back with the main topic of the day. Okay, so we are going to continue with today's main topic. Right, so today is all about cadencia. Now, we are going to try to identify, explain what is cadencia, but be aware that different people have different definitions. So if you are kind of meeting someone, if you're meeting someone giving you a different definition, do not be too much surprised. Because it's actually such a fine topic, very sometimes tricky to define, this is why you might have different definitions. So for me, cadencia is all these movements we have in the dance, which are in essence simple, but which are very musical and which are playful, playing a little bit with hip movement, swinging a little bit, and always playing with this structure, which is the very tango structure, if you like. So we are going to show you, of course, an example, but do not think that cadencia is one specific step. It's of course some kind of concept which would comprise many steps. However, there are things that are cadencias and things are not. So for me, the cadencia is something that can be repeated easily, and again that is playful with the music. So they tend to be short steps repeated. For you?
Yes, a similar definition, and also it can be a little bit confusing because indeed there are a lot of different definitions for this. I like the idea of the musical structure, playing with the musical structure together with kind of balancing of the hip. I like that idea, and also usually it's quick, slow, or double time. I think these are the main patterns of the cadencias.
Exactly, and they often involve rock step, the bote, as we see, but not only that. Good. So I'm going to start with one one side step, and the next step is going to be a change of lane. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to start facing my partner, and I'm going to do a side step, but this side step is going to be a little bit longer, So I go from center to my partner to the inner lane, which is a little bit on this side here. See, my left leg did a slightly bigger step. And I'm going to do something which is very important here, which is a bit of a scooping. That means I'm going to go and flex as I go. As I arrive onto my right leg, I'm going to go up and relax. So, the reason my partner is going to change her weight when I send my weight forward is because of this scooping mechanism here. I'm going into the floor, I go up and I relax. This relaxation makes her want to change her weight.
This is very important because if the signal is not there and you just do a forward step and stop without giving me the anticipation of the signal that is going to stop, I have too much energy continuing back. So it's very likely that I will stop with my partner, but rather I will continue walking away.
Exactly.
Yeah?
So let's have a look at the side step here. I'm going to go into a scooping where I'm going to flex a bit, and I'm going to arrive on a straight leg and relax here, which makes her change her weight. So if you think about it, leaders, it's flexing when you start, pushing a lot with this leg, so it's like a kind of a longer step if you like. But I arrive on a straight leg, I go all the way up, and I relax into this step. So there's a bit of 1 and 2. Can you see? My center of gravity is traveling a bit down to start, a bit up, and I finally arrive on my left leg a bit more relaxed.
So this is essential, yeah, when you are walking and you want to stop walking anytime. Not just to do a particular sequence of steps, but as a general rule, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the reason also I'm going to scoop a bit is because I use the inner lane, so I can go a little bit longer before I relax. Now, as I relax, we are going to change our weight, both of us. I'm going to be on the left, and I'm going to go back.
Can we show it the other
Absolutely.
end? This way.
So, this way first. 1, 2, and 3. Note that as I'm going back, I'm going to go a little bit, so I'm going to go straight, but I'm going to send her a little bit towards me to rectify the fact that she was on my side for a moment there. Yes, so if I show you maybe that angle here. 1, 2, and as I go back, I send her a little bit towards me as opposed to keeping her to the side. So there's a bit of an adjustment to make.
Can we try diagonal perhaps? This way.
1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. So leaders, do not hesitate to go a little bit on your toes when you go forward. Yes, I'm going down a bit. I'm going to receive my weight on a straight leg. I go all the way up, and here I add a little bit of flexion, like pushing on the foot to be able to relax on the other leg here. So there's a bit of calf movement where I'm going to lift myself a bit and then relaxing on the other leg.
So these are the small differences that end up actually not being so irrelevant in the dance as a general concept. It might seem like a small detail, but it's not, because applying these changes is going to add to quality of the movement, and the dancing is going to end up looking a lot more dimensional, I would say, and not so flat, yeah?
Exactly. This little up and down really adds something to the dancing. This is why when you start working together, leaders, and followers of course, you need to make sure that there is absolutely no movement up and down. If we do the caminata, the walk together, there is not such a thing as this.
There is no purpose because we continue in walking, right?
Exactly. And the main reason for that is because if you start going up and down when you go forward, simply without any change of weight or direction, there will be some kind of pollution or noise into your dancing, which means that when you need to send a signal, the signal will be taken. Yes, so make sure that your movement is as simple as it can, so so that when I need to send a signal, which really means something, therefore there is something that happens, such as a change of weight in that case.
Okay, shall we demonstrate it with the music?
Absolutely. So we're going to repeat a few times with this scooping, the change of weight, and going back, and we'll repeat with the side step.
Sounds like a plan.
That's like a plan. A few moments to practice. Good luck.
If you have any questions, you know what to do.
All right. Okay, great. So, a couple of things I'd like to mention which are important for the leader to realize. Basically, when you're using the inner lane leaders, ensure that you are not going away from your partner. Look at this. So here, I'm going away, and that actually creates a disconnect with my partner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a little bit by aiming behind her, not completely, but there's a little bit of that happening, so a little bit of diagonal when I'm going to do my scooping. So I'm not completely straight, I'm going a little bit to the side, not much, so that I'm reconnecting with her. Bam. And as you do, it's very likely that you are going to establish thigh contact. This is fine, it's not a problem, it's actually even nice because it feels a bit more connected to people.
I also would like to add one tip is if you are doing this in open embrace, especially in open embrace, you need to indicate via the embrace the changes of the weight. Is not enough for me, for my personal opinion, is not enough to use the standing leg for your scoop, although this is very important of course, but you have to transmit it via the embrace, because otherwise what happens is she cannot read your legs, she'll be looking at it and might mismatch the time of your step. So you need to think, I'm going to lead with the embrace and accompany with the legs, if that makes sense, yeah? So here I really feel the slight compression before the scoop, yeah? Here. This is really important because if it's not indicated via the embrace and there's no lead whatsoever, just going with the legs, something like this will happen. So I just went back because I felt the energy going back, but I didn't feel the change of the level, the change of height, yeah?
So I would add a little bit of compression of embrace, a tiny bit to signify to your partner, get ready, something's going to happen, pay attention, and this is when I'm going to scoop and change my weight.
And then release the compression at the end of the step after you arrive.
Absolutely.
Yes. Shall we one more time?
So, here a bit of compression and then here I relax my leg, my embrace, everything because I wanted to change the weight and of course follow me forward here.
So really trying to create the contrast. Maybe we can show it one more time with the music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we leave the music for you guys and really try to create the contrast of the impulse. Yeah? a bit more time with this, and we will also check your questions now. Glasses back on. Be ready for questions.
Alright, okay, so we'd like to add one little thing in our new sequence here, which is a side step, a rebound, and a shot of weights. So it's going to look like 1 and 2 forward. Yes? So I'm going to go bam, 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 change. Now, for this to happen, 1 and 2 and go, I'm going to have to use a little bit of hip movement here from the right to the left. Going to be jump, bam, bam, and then here I'm going to push a little bit on the left to produce that space I need to step. 1 and 2, 3. So note that the change of weight at this stage is indicated in a different way. It's not like I'm coming here and then I go forward, because it's of course possible to do that. I want her to feel that as she comes back from the last pied, there is energy that is coming this way. So one part of me, my hips, is going to send her hips this way. My embrace is going to send her the opposite way. So it feels like she's almost forced to collect, and because of this energy a little bit sideways, she will feel that she's no other option than to change her weight. This is how we did this
It's
sequence.
very, very helpful to have that movement of the hips, and sometimes you feel a slight tilt. It's very helpful because it's so clear that it's indicating the weight change. Can we show it this way with the diagonal now? This way?
Mm-hmm. So I go here, I come back, and then I'm going to go all the way with my hip to my right here.
So that makes me transfer the weight, yeah, to my right leg.
But my embrace is going to be a little bit going to the left here. So I'm having a slight tilt, and my leg, which is free at this stage, is the right leg here. Yes? Let's do it one more time. 1 and 2, and then I'm ready to go with the right leg forward. Bam, bam, bam.
So as then for the revote, one thing that really helps, I would say, both leaders and followers, is to have the direction of the weight towards the floor.
Yes.
Because it will be very tempting to do the revote from the embrace and to try and push with the arms. So if you try to create the revote from the weight of the hips going into the floor and use the energy that you discharge into the floor to come back. That is much easier for this movement to be understood for the follower. If you do it up here, she will still follow, but with a delay. And also it won't feel and it won't look very good because we are using too much tension in the upper body. So really try to discharge the weight towards the floor. And I also feel a little bit of drop of the hip.
So remember guys, if you want to add this cadencia, the whole topic, the whole theme is to have a little bit of playfulness in the music, but also in the hips, in the body. So it's not like you go very, very square. You are going to have a bit more hip movement here to go and come back, and therefore this is going to facilitate the lead for the shoulder weight. So don't think it of something very, very stiff, but on the contrary, something that travels a little bit. Now, it's not Latin dancing, you know, of course you can't go too far, this is way too far, but there's a little bit of that happening as you transfer the weight, so it's much softer.
So if you use the natural weight of the hip, the natural movement is going to be like that. It wouldn't be up here. This is us sustaining our own weight.
Yes.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Should we show it in the sequence or let them
Absolutely.
just practice first this one?
Yes, okay. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. Let's play with music maybe.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so we'll leave you a few moments to practice. If you have any question regarding the lead or the transfer of the weight of the hip, the machine with the flow or the embrace, is the moment.
Don't be shy.
Be shy. Okay, let's continue now. So we're going to link the two to play with this little sequence of this little cadencia. Now the good news is that you'll be able to create your own cadencias, having this little kind of movement of the hip, this little kind of movement back and forth, and of course using, if you can, the quick, slow, quick, slow, or quick, where there's no interruption.
Which we are going to talk a bit more about on the second class also. We're going to give you more examples for different musical choices.
Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to link number 1, which is here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, sorry, 3 and 4. Again. Pum, 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 yum, pum, pum. Yum, pum, 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 pum. A little bit, and we'll be back in a second with more precision. Okay, so let's continue.
So you are all very quiet today. I believe actually just mentioning it and our first question just popped up. Shall I have a look at the question now? Might as well.
No, let's have a look at followers first.
Later? Okay. So I'm going to give you some tips in terms of the followers' footwork, how to do it neatly and how the weight is distributed and so on. So let me show you this way. Perhaps you can give me a little bit of space.
Sure, of course. Followers first today.
Alright, so here when you go to the rebote, as we were mentioning before, there's a little bit of allowance of that hip to drop, and then I come back and I reverse that. Now, in terms of the feet positioning, try not to go with the full foot on the floor. Aesthetically doesn't really look so good to do this, as you can see, but rather just go with the toes and go softly, gently to the heel a little bit later. So not this, yes, so here I don't even put the heel completely on the floor. I prefer it that way to stabilize it a little bit more gently. But you can if you want, as long as you don't put too much pressure too soon or make too much noise. Then I come back and I bring my feet into the collection as together as possible. So collect completely here. Not this way with some space in between, but collect. Okay, let me move forward a little bit. So you have collect, and then we would continue. Okay, so yam pam pam, yam pam pam. So here collect, use your weight, and back the same thing. Don't go with the full foot on the floor, but through the toes. We have a big scoop here. Toes, feet together. Change weight via the toes first and then the heel down, and then release the upper body first before you're going forward. Okay, let's do it a few times. Quick, quick, slow. 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 Last time. Quick, quick, slow. Okay, I am going to have a look to see if there's any questions. Do you want to take it over from there?
Absolutely. So, leaders. First of all, when I go around my partner, I'm going to use a bit of flexion here, but what you can do is really kind of design this step here before you go forward, rather than sending your torso forward, go a little bit into your axis, into this leg first, so that you have this one happening. Yeah? So it's like you're revving the engine, and then you push here. So there's a bit of a reveal, something a bit more interesting than just going forward here. So this is why the scooping is actually quite interesting here. 2, 1, and then finally push here. Second thing that I'd like to mention for leaders, when you're going here, it's quite a soft step. Yeah? So make sure that you don't go 1 and then a big step here, because she's going to have too much energy and then the energy is going to be deported to your back. If you want to catch this leg to do a side step, your step to the back is going to be a small step. 1, 2, and a small step here. See, there's a very, very small displacement, because then it's easy to catch this leg and then having this charge of weight on the after the side step.
So we have 2 questions.
Okay.
First question is, do you have to turn 90 degrees after the side step, or is it just a style / change of direction?
Good question. So yes, I do not have to have any change of direction. I can simply make it quite straight. I'm going forward, here, side, and I can repeat exactly the same angle here. Now, what I like to do personally is to add a little bit of rotation to the right hand side, because it helps me have a little bit more of that happening. See, when I'm going around my partner, somehow it feels a bit more connected. So I'm not going completely straight. I can, of course. I'm going a little bit around her to have this feeling of really connecting to each other. So the change of direction is a result of me going around her. As I said, it's not a must. It's just a nice little thing to do.
And there was another question, just for the followers. The side step, is it with both knees flexed? I would say yes, also for the leader, if I may say. Because it would be very strange if one knee is straight and the other knee is bent. It would be kind of a maybe more like a breakdance move.
I think for me, what's important is that I'm not putting my heels on the floor with my side steps. See, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
I can, of course, but it would be a little bit too
It's
harsh.
heavy and it makes too much sound, it's completely unnecessary basically.
Exactly, so I go, pam, pam, so I'm kind of keeping my feet on the floor, but only the toes. I'm not having my heels on the floor as I do my side step. 1 and 2, and then I go.
Yeah, so there you go. The answer to that would be yes, both knees on the side step. Yeah, let me show a little bit. So not too much, I would say just enough to make the availability of changing the weight.
Absolutely.
So not too much because we are not blocking the energy, we are continuing using the rebound to come back. Yeah, so if we go too much on flexion, it's not possible to come back quickly from that situation. And then when I bring the together here, the legs together, the same, both legs are flexing. So both legs, and now I extend the free leg, and here to go forward if it's a small step without flexion. Shall we show that part one more time so they can see the knees working?
So, maybe this way?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go by scooping, 1, I relax, and then I send up this way my hips.
Maybe we can show it a few times diagonal back if you just go a little bit back, that's it.
So, here, yum, bum, bum, yata, ba, bum, yum, bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 yum, bum, bum, yep, bum.
And remember to have a very good closure with your feet here, to don't have space in between. Maybe we show it one last time with music.
Absolutely.
And then leave it for you guys to practice, then we are almost time to wrap up. It's going quickly.
Okay, good. So we will give you a few moments to practice and we shall be back.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for your questions. They really helped us to help you, and we want to help you and help everybody that is watching this stream. So thank you for not being shy. Keep doing that, please. And now, I believe it's time to wrap up the class. We're going to be back at 8 p.m. with a lot more cadencia examples for you. Do you want to tell a little bit more about that?
Exactly. So in about 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we are going to come back with a few combinations related to how we play with each other in the dance using cadencia. So things which are in a synchronous manner, synchronous steps, asynchronous steps as well. So with no synchronicity in the couple, which is also interesting. And you see how we can really play with this pam 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 in the song, which is a typical structure, if you like, of a tango song. So here it was a simple structure. What I recommend you do is also inventing your own little structures with very simple steps. It could be as simple as, doing this as opposed to collecting and then going with this foot here.
These things tend to be very effective when they land with the music. It's simple. It's not everything overly spectacular, but then when you can deliver this kind of repetition with the music, with good connection with your partner, it's great.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be incredibly difficult, you know, there's this misconception sometimes.
I think if you, obviously, you know, now is a bit different in Buenos Aires, but if you go to Buenos Aires, if you went to Buenos Aires, you will probably have noticed that lots of couples are doing very simple steps, which are basically cadencias, which we have covered today now and also in the next class. But you know, very simple things, not like complex sequences, just very simple, but so good with the music, incredibly musical, so very playful, and it's a joy to watch them dance, of course, because you see how connection there is, how much connection there is with the music, the flow around them, and of course their partner.
Okay, so regarding of the schedule this week, do you want to remind us all what's happening?
Yes, so next class Friday, 7 p.m. for leaders and 8 p.m. for followers. This is a solo technique class, and it's a bit of a special theme this week on Friday, because we are going to look at how to make your partner happy. And
big
it's
responsibility.
not only you bring a few chocolate in your pockets, you know, yeah, maybe you can do that, but a few more tips which are more...
I think it's going to be
time
more directed
oriented
to the actual dance, right?
Exactly, so how to make your partner happy, 7 p.m. 8 p.m. And then Sunday coming is our next cadencia number 2, so the last of the series. We have only 2, at 2 p.m. for beginners and 3 for intermediates. And next week, of course, your next tango workout on Tuesday
Yes.
at 12:30. So should be very fun for solo dancers. And finally Wednesday next week for our next topic. So this is what we have prepared for you. Now I'm going to show you the links. So this is where you can catch up with every class we've given in the past. Go to tangito.co.uk/library. You have more than 100 different lessons covering a lot of different topics. If you want to be part of the group, WhatsApp, this is the number to be connected to or to send a message to. If you're on Instagram, this is how to reach us. And finally, please do not forget to buy a ticket or make a donation. This is the address, tangito.co.uk/donate. This is why, or this is actually really helping us, because this is our own income. Thank you so much during COVID. So we're going to do a little demonstration for you guys, only using what we've done today, not only. Here we go. Okay, thank you very much for joining.
Doesn't
Okay.
listen to me, finally. So guys, we see you in about 12 minutes for the break. Enjoy and don't go anywhere because we're going to be back.
In about 20 minutes, we show you some very interesting sequences that you can use for your cadencias. Here we go. Right,
And
so...
welcome back. What a short break. That felt so short.
It is?
Yes, I'm out of breath.
Already?
I was running. I realized I was up the stairs and I realized I didn't have water with me, so I had to turn around and run to make sure I would be here on time. Long story anyway. The important thing is we are back for more cadencia. You know, just sharing a little bit of my human life. Why not?
Okay, right. So you went to the well and you got some water. This is very good.
It's important because you don't want me to collapse in the middle of the live.
And then the well is in the middle of the garden, so.
And also it's very hot. It's which we do not complain. We like it.
No? Exactly, yes, fine.
We want a second summer. We love, even if it's just a week. Yeah.
We should have it. Yes.
We should have it.
Okay. So guys, today is all about cadencia. This is our second lesson, intermediate and advanced dancers. And I'm going to, for those who just join us now, to try to define what cadencia is. So as we said earlier, cadencia, the definition is a little bit fuzzy at times. The reason being that different people have different opinions of what it is. In a nutshell, however, I think there is a kind of consensus to understand that cadencia is all this movement that, when you say, oh, it's got the moves, he's very playful with the music, he has a good musicality, he has a good communication with his partner, and it's all these kind of little moves that make a dance very interesting. So normally, a cadencia is very, very short in nature. It's not going to be a 20-second sequence at all. It's going to be something very, very short and very snappy, which works very well with the music. Good. So this is our little introduction on cadencia. And if we have, if we can have our follower on the stage.
Yes, we can have the follower on the stage. I was just being entertained. You guys have been talking to each other on the break, in the chat.
Have we?
Yes, they have.
Good. That's good. Okay. So we'll start with our first little cadencia. It's going to involve a change of weight. So remember what we introduced as a concept in the beginner lesson, that the change of weight is done by having a bit of an upper movement, then going up, and relaxing, or should I say discharging onto the other leg. So this movement here of going up and down is going to be, it should be enough to indicate a change of weight to the follower. Make sure, however, when you do so, that it's not just up and down, it's up and down on the other side. So there's a little bit of an arch that is being drawn, where I'm going up and I'm discharging to the other leg. So there's a very clear transfer of axis from left leg to right leg or vice versa.
This is very important because we followers read the movement of the leader, not their mind. Maybe some people with some special talents. I'm not there yet. I can't read Bruno's mind, so maybe sometimes. But it's so much easier for me to receive the information clearly with the indication of changing heights. Yeah, if it's if he's just delivering the step without leading it, I'm just going to follow, but I'm not going to be able to change the level. Exactly. I'm probably just going to go back, side or forward, but I won't be able to accompany him correctly. Yeah.
So this is what we are going to do as a leader. I'm going to go forward, discharge, and a small side. When I say small, I mean small. It's not really a side step, it's more like a transfer to the other leg with a little bit of movement here. So it's 1 and 2. I'm going to gather my feet, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. 1 and 2. Yes, so simple. Of course, my partner is going to do exactly the same. So if we show you maybe a bit diagonal, it's going to be 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now, I'm going to add one thing, leaders. I don't know if you remember what we said during the beginner class when it came to this little change of weight after a side step. I'm going to use the same technique where my hip is going to send my partner. That means rather than sending my partner with my embrace, I'm going to let my hip do the job for me, and she will actually be able to read it more quickly than if it was with the embrace. 1, 2, 3. So therefore there's a little bit of tilting of the axis inwards, which adds a bit of the swing that we like with the cadencias.
So we spoke a little bit about it in the first class, and in this case is again very, very important. Yeah, so I really feel the direction of the tilts is towards the side of the collection here. Yeah, let's have a look.
So 1, boom, boom, 1 and 2. Yep, up, 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 bum. Yep, up, 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 bum. Yep, up, up. Of course, I can close your brace. Bum, bum. Or I can leave it open. It's up to you. Would work. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. At this stage, note that I'm not changing lane. I'm using the in lane all throughout. So it's a completely synchronized movement between leader and follower. Should shoot music?
Yep, I think so.
So, a couple of things maybe to mention, for me at least.
Yes, I have a few as well. Surprise, surprise.
Is I'm going to use the full extension of my feet there. So I'm going to go forward and I'm going to really kind of use this kind of tippy toes movement here. So the movement is going up and down and sideways, which adds this little, how do you call it, swingy feel, no?
So you really control it with the calf muscles now.
Exactly.
To go through the toes before going back to the heel.
One, and then here I'm going to go up before I go here. 1 and 2. So I will stay onto my tippy toes when I'm doing the side step. Again, it's a small side step.
Now, one thing that really helps me in closing brace is to feel via the center this tilt. Because if we are doing it opening brace, it will be indicated more in the frame. But if we are more in closing brace, I really like to feel through the communication via the center with a little bit of pressure and body weight towards each other. It becomes very, very clear. And it's also important that I, as a follower, don't anticipate, even if I know the step is going to repeat. Try to really stay with the leader.
Surprise you with something
exactly.
else.
So really stay with the leader and wait until that very last moment, because it will be very easy. Oh, I got this. So let's go. I'll take you.
Exactly. Now, this is a very good point. When I'm going to exit my sequence, I'm going to completely relax my body and my embrace as a signal to my partner. Okay, now we exit, so we don't do another one. Yeah, so this exiting of sequence is often going to be the challenge when it comes to cadencias, especially if you've done the same movement maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times, which is fine. The exit is going to be the challenge, so therefore I need to have a different signal, and the different signal here is a complete relaxation before maybe I start something fresh, something new. Okay, one more time?
Yeah,
so
let's
let's show it one more time, and then we'll give you a few moments to practice. Okay, now your turn to practice. Okay, right. So we have a question: what is the difference between cadencia and rebote? Actually, rebote is a step in itself. Cadencia is more like a concept. It's like almost like a family of steps which could loosely be put under the cadencia umbrella. Again, the definition of cadencia is a bit loose, so it's up to you to make up your mind to define how you want it to be. But for me, it's actually all these little steps that are quite playful, have different hip movements, and you maybe use the rhythms.
There is, however, an old concept that cadencia was another name for the rock step.
Yes.
And I think what happened was that it became broader, and it developed into being a concept, and it can be applied in different steps. This is my theory. This is what I made out of what I researched.
Exactly. So some people might equate cadencia and rebote, but we feel it's a bit or rock step.
Yeah.
But we feel it's a bit broader because it has a bit more, more kind of potential.
I think as things developed, people realized, hey, wait, maybe we can utilize some of the ways that we move in the cadencia, and we can apply those ways into different steps, and then that developed into cadencia as a different concept. This is it's my suspicion.
Your suspicion.
It's my suspicion.
Okay.
There is one question just popped up. Shall I have a quick look, and then we can...
Okay, sure.
Yeah? So, there's two questions actually. Would this work for vowels? It looks like it would fit for vowels.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yep.
And then there's another one which is, and another one just popped in. How far sideways can you send a follower? What would be too much?
Okay, so that's a good question. So for this little thing here, I have no push on the floor. Note that my side step is almost like the little discharge that I had earlier. I just go and I gently put my foot down. There's not this sensation of yes, it could be of course something that you might want to do, but in this case it will be a bit quick and not necessarily very useful to have a very, very large step. So I would say maybe just a tiny bit of step, maybe have 1 or 2 feet in between. That's all you need to do in terms of the side step.
And lastly, on the last step we did, the leader can choose how far he wants to go on the side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, so yes, the leader can choose how far he can go to the side. As a matter of fact, we can choose to go nowhere at all, just using the embrace, and this is what I am going to show you now.
Okay.
So if leaders, if leaders want to play,
It just gives us some time, yeah, we have the positioning in space. Are we fine now, or do we need to go? We need to travel? Take a bus? Go somewhere? Yeah.
Look. 1, 2, and then here I'm sending my partner, but note that I haven't moved at all. I can change my weight a bit to mimic the side step, but my side step can be so tiny that it looks like I'm standing here and I'm going. So let me show you one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bum, bum, bum. See, note here that I'm not going anywhere, or maybe my side step is so tiny that it's almost not visible. So this is one way to play, and the follower is going to adopt her technique by going a little bit around as opposed to purely sideways. So think of it, the followers as a bit of a rounded step.
Yeah, so it's a small step, and it's a little bit more up and over, rather than the standard side step. As Bruno was explaining, there is no flexion or projection for a long step. This is more a transfer of the weight going up and over that translates into a small side step. It's important to indicate that very clearly for the leaders, otherwise you end up taking her too far away from you on a big side step, and that's not the idea.
Exactly, so music. this, we have something else to show you. So, very quickly, let's continue.
Yes,
Before we have two questions that were asked in the feed. So the
I
leader.
always get so excited when I see your questions there. It's lovely. It's making it so much more interactive. So thank you.
So if you are staying on the spot leaders, of course you need to send your signal, your partner to the side. Now remember what we said earlier. There's a little bit of a tilt. Pom, pom, and then you're going to tilt this way, and that actually sends your partner's side step around you. Yes, so you go 1, 2, and then you kind of flex a little bit this leg, and you have a bit of a tilt of the hips going a little bit this way. That sends your partner to the side here. Same on the other side, 1 and 2. Yeah, this is the tilt. So the axis goes from here to a bit of that here, or from here to a bit of this here.
And there was also a question for the followers, which was if there are any decorations in this particular situation that can be applied to. And I would say yes, absolutely. However, like with everything in tango, first try to understand the step to make it work together with both you and the leader, and after that you can explore. Now, there is not so much time in this situation to decorate a lot, so it has to be a little bit dynamic in between steps. And what I would suggest is this one, perhaps. So if you can do the same thing. 1 and 2 and cross behind. 1 and 2 and. Let's maybe show it diagonally so they can see. Okay. 1 and 2 and continue cross behind. So notice here the dynamic is in and out. It's not in and stay, it's in and out. So you can prepare the next projection and you don't lose too much time, and then you get discoordinated with the uncoordinated.
Uncoordinated. No,
Yeah,
not
uncoordinated. Uncoordinated with the leader. Like I said before, you know, I'm not native yet.
Well, and you have your bananas, so you have plenty of energy, right?
Yeah, but how does that mean that I couldn't speak English? I'm not sure how that relates.
The brain is going too fast, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. But you get the point, right? So when you do the cross, maybe let me slow down so I can show that to them a little bit slower. So you have the scoop here. We're going to the side, and from here, you're going to bring that in, out. So you see, sorry, in, out. So it's not in and then out together, because it would be too late. Yes? In, out. Yes, this is how you ensure you won't be too late for that projection.
Okay.
Any thoughts on this?
I think it's very good.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. My thought is it's good. Is that yes?
Okay. Yes, always happy to hear a good compliment. I know.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, guys? Let us know. Hopefully that does.
Okay. So let's move on to our next chapter, which is this little sequence, which is very, very nice. I'm going to go sideways, and then here I'm going to have these movements. 1, bum, bum. I do side step, I collect, and open. I go on the other side, side step, and now I'm going to start having a bit of a scooping. 1, and to make my partner collect, I'm going to have again, my axis a little bit this way before I come back. Can you see? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3.
So when we put this in the counting with the music, maybe we can count it in 4, so you can get also a little bit closer to what we're going to do later with the music, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So
this is the
1, 2, 3, suspend 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah?
or another way to see it is 1 and 2,
3. Yeah.
So here we are going to start slowly. Chum, 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 chum. But I'm going to start having a slight acceleration to catch the heartbeat. Yum, bam, stop. Yum, bam, stop. Yum, bam, stop. Yum, bam, stop. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2.
So maybe let's do leaders and follow separately?
Okay, yep. So for me as a leader, I'm going to go forward and I'm going to use a scoop as we did earlier, which allows me to leave my partner, and I'm going to place my partner onto the left before I have my axis going a little bit to the side here, and I relax. I'm going to have to go around on the other side. 1, 2, 3. So the secret here is to make sure that you keep your partner lifted when you do the side step. If you do 1, 2, you relax here before you go, she might change her weight right there. So to bring her back into a side step after the foot collection, keep her lifted. 1, 2, 3, and then only you kind of start working on the scoop. 1, up, up, 1, up, up, 1, up, up.
Okay,
Well,
I
that's going to be
think
very
I
similar.
am required on set, I believe.
Done.
Here I am. Okay, so let's have a look at what happens for us. We have a scoop here as before. Scoop, big step, and now small step, opening the hip, turning my upper body this way. And now I collect, but I don't transfer the weight. It's again in, out. And here I have a small side step, changing direction, and my upper body is going to go to my, still is with my leader. And I'm going to repeat. So big step here with a scoop, big, small, collect, small. Big, small, small. Okay, so let me show you perhaps diagonally. We gain a little bit of space. So big, small, small, and big, small, small, collect. Push, transfer, transfer, push, transfer, transfer. Push, transfer, transfer, push, transfer, transfer, push, transfer, transfer. Now, because I'm going to be alternating the lane between being on the right side of Bruno, left side of Bruno, my upper body needs to be constantly adjusting. And if we do it with, if I can have my leader back, thank you very much. So if we do it together, you can see what I mean by changing the lanes. Here, and my upper body needs to rotate, so I keep, my upper body remains with my leader, and my hips keep on readjusting.
Okay.
Yeah?
Should we just show it with music?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
If
You ask.
yes. Oh, I love Romantica Mi Bombiera. Thank you, we love your music. I just had to say that.
Me too. Have fun. So much emoción.
Muchísimas gracias, me encanta esta canción. Sorry, that just sometimes comes out in Spanish.
Okay, so I hope this was clear. Maybe the last little detail I'd like to mention about what we just previously did is, as I said, the fact that we need to keep our partner lifted and we're going to keep on our toes in doing so. So it's much easier if you are too much to the floor with your heels, she might shine your weight. Easier to lift her and send her this way. You see, I'm going to bring this leg up just by sending the hip out and in.
So it's exactly the same concept that we were speaking about before.
Yes.
Applied now to a change of front, yeah, slightly.
Exactly. It is. So now that we have this little cadencia, we're going to show you what happens if I start using the Americano. Come in. So I'm going to get in Americana, it doesn't matter how, and I'm going to do this little thing here where I'm going to send you, or send her, forward, side, and step. Now, it's actually quite similar, except this time I'm going to make her go forward, and I'm going to forward as well. So if I'm going to show you without stopping, to give you an idea of the structure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So she's constantly traveling around me. Whereas I'm going basically forward, using a little bit of up and down as we did before. So the idea is to activate the left part of your embrace. You get into Americana first, and you're going to move your partner to your left hand side. And then you're going to do a side step. As you come back, you're going to continue rotating her. So the trick between the two, because of course what we did earlier, if you think about it, is the same, except we are not in Americana, we were facing each other. And before I was coming into this position here. So how do I make sure that she continues rotating? Is
go back, sorry, because they can't see it.
What I'm going to do here is, as I'm sending her to my side here, at that stage when I put my right down, I continue working with the pivot using the right part this time as far as I can here.
That is essential for me to open my hips. Otherwise, I might just take a back step as I was doing before. So in order for me to go into Americana now, the inner lane, I need to get the leading of my hip opening before the Americana.
Let's take a look. If I don't do that, look what happens. 1, 2, 3, and then I do this. This actually is not bad. Why not?
But it's not what we're trying to achieve.
But it's not what we do here.
Yeah, let's go back here so they can see if we start reading the corner. They can see.
So, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So notice how my left arm keeps adjusting and sliding through Bruno's arm and back, and we close the space, and now we open it. Maybe we can say a few words also?
Absolutely. So, for me, the idea is I'm going to send my partner to turn as much as I can. So think of it as an anti-Americana. I know it's a strange name. If Americana was this way, maybe the contra-Americana or anti-Americana, or whatever you call it, would be on the other side. Of course, this position is very, very difficult because of the embrace. This is why this arm needs to travel as much as it needs to from here, maybe to here.
Yeah,
it's next to impossible to keep it here.
Otherwise, this happens and the space is too short, the alignment is affected. So I need to slide the arm through the back of Bruno's arm here. And when we close it, maybe you can turn around so they can see. When we close it, it travels all the way around here. And Bruno's also closing this side. So now the Americana is close to each other here. So here is close and then start traveling, slide, and it's going to close again. So same thing for the leader, yeah?
Absolutely. So I'm going to travel around the back of my partner. So having to constantly readjust my right hand so that we are not in the way. Now there's something that is important for both leaders and followers. None of us should have any tension in this part of the embrace. My left, her right. If one of us has a bit of push, the other one will have absolutely no space to get into the contra americana. Look at this. If I start pushing here, it doesn't matter how hard she tries to get in and pivot the hips, she cannot, because I'm actually pushing her, therefore there's no space for her. So we're going to have to relax like a great deal this part of the embrace. So there's pretty much zero tension here, so it's comfortable for both.
Yes, so we don't try to put our elbows up, we have to put it down. It's the only way that we can actually rotate more. Here it's going to, how do you say, it's going to be actually in the way.
Exactly, we push against each other, therefore there's no space, and we feel that we can't really pivot as we would like to.
So yeah, so bring the shoulder blade down and then rotate and open. You'll find it that you have much more space.
So this is not the time when you need tension in or a compression in the left part of the embrace, leaders. Make sure it is completely relaxed, and this is a lead for the follower to relax their arm as well. So remember, followers, to always mirror what I do with the embrace. If I'm pressing here, press back, maybe it's to have something quite quick. If I relax completely, there's a reason, and this is in this case because I want to have access to that part of the embrace, which only works in a very, very relaxed left arm for leaders and right for followers.
This is so important. The more clear the communication is in your own mind, leaders, the more clear the communication is going to be to the followers. So the dancing is going to result much more smooth. We understand each other much better.
Should we try?
Let's try.
Music.
Yes, absolutely. Shall we start at the back? Maybe this time?
Little time to practice. it's time to move on to our next chapter. Now, in this song, in most songs, there will be moments where we have quick, quick, slow, and this is the type of step which we've been doing so far, which is working very well. Now, there's a moment in the song, there are quite a few moments here, where the orchestra is sustaining the beat, so it's not quick, quick, slow anymore, it's quick, 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 tap, pam, pam, so there's no little pause. So what can you do in this case? This is what we are going to show you. We are going to do a little sequence here, same thing, a cadencia, very, very simple, but which respects this change in the music. So I'm going to start, Peters, the same as most of these steps. I'm going to do a slightly bigger step to get into the inner lane, and I'm going to go forward, side, side, and a small forward step here. So it's big forward, 2 change of weight, small forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, in order to lead this, is important for me to use the same technique or same concept that we used earlier. I'm going to start with a scooping here, and then I go up, I relax on the other side, and have a small intention forward. The idea is, in order to catch this intention forward, especially if you've been doing quick, quick, slow a lot until now, the lady might want to go 1, 2, 3, and freeze here. So in order to override this, you have to actually send your fourth step a little bit earlier. So let me show you. Here, 1, 2, 3, already here I work on the fourth step here. So how do I do that? I start by having a little bit of pressure off the left part of my embrace to say, well, don't stop here, continue. Even if it's a small step, it needs to be indicated. E, 1, 2, 3, E, 1, 2, 3, E, 1. See here? There's this little intention forward that I need to give to my partner before I do the bigger step.
So as I feel the energy is quite continuous until the scoop. So the scoop is the only step that gives it contrast.
Exactly.
And after the scoop there is 3 steps that continue with the energy, so it's not really interrupted. So it's 1, continue, 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 1, continue, continue, continue.
Yes.
This feeling. Should we show it one more time?
Absolutely.
Maybe with music?
Yes. Such a nice song.
Oh, and we arrived to the end of the class.
Unbelievable.
It went very fast, at least on our end. It went very fast. But don't worry, because we're going to come back with another cadencias class. Did I get that right? Woo!
Yes. Let's absolutely.
I was like, yeah,
Yes.
right.
So, quick program before we do our little demonstration using everything we've done today. First of all, we are back on Friday. This is a class which is interesting for solo dancers, leaders 7 p.m., for us 8 p.m. and the topic is how to make your partner happy. Nice topic, no? Big topic. And we talk about tango partner, yes? It's partner is slightly
yes,
beyond.
we are going to direct it
to tango partners.
Tango terms, yeah? Tango terms and dance terms.
Exactly.
It
Otherwise,
could be very broad.
Too big a topic. Okay. So, Sunday we're back 2 p.m., 3 p.m. as usual for your next cadencia class, number 2 and our final. Next Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. UK time, workouts for solo dancers, fast routines. And finally, next Wednesday is your next Wednesday class as per today. So, Do you want to have a...
Yes, I can do that. So guys, if you have not been able to see all the classes and you'd like to do a catch-up, this is where you go, tanguito.co.uk/library. We are keeping all our classes here, as you probably already know. And Instagram fans and potentially new fans at Tanguito Academy and at FABULOUS Tango. This is where we post our stuff that it's not necessarily related to these classes, but educational videos, funny videos, you name it, so might be worth for you to have a look. And finally, if you have not yet bought a ticket, we would really appreciate tanguito.co.uk/donate. This is a place to go, guys, and please purchase a ticket for these classes. And if for any reason you can't, or if you'd like to give us a little bit more of an hand, we would appreciate you would give us a donation. So this is the only way that we get paid still at these times, very uncertain. And with your help, we managed to keep doing what we do. So thank you so much in advance.
Okay, let's do a little dance, ready?
Yes, a little or proper, normal?
Not a little dance.
Not a little.
Yeah, why not? Let's improvise. So we'll use the steps of today as a means to show you a potential way to use them.
I like it.
Okay. Orchestra Novera Poema. Here we go.
How do you like that?
Yeah. Very nice, thank you. So,
Thank you so much for being here with us today, guys. We see you very shortly.
Yes, we see you on Friday. So thanks again for your support. We truly, from the bottom of our hearts, truly helpful and very, very, heartwarming for us. So We wish you a very, very good end of today, and a very, very good end of the week. And we'll see you on Friday. Thanks again. See you soon.
See you then, guys. Ciao.